Welcome to Roughing It with Ruth, the channel where everything is a bit rough around the edges. I recently purchased this sleeping mat, which is from NatureHike. This is quite an interesting sleeping pad because it's a double sleeping pad, so it's meant for two people to sleep next to each other on it. I have not opened it at all. This is going to be the first time that I'm opening it, my first look at it. On NatureHike Africa's own website, this is called the Ultralight Prismatic Double Inflatable Pad, which is quite a mouthful. I purchased this mat myself and it was 1,499 Rand. I couldn't find anywhere on the NatureHike Africa that this particular pad has an R value attached to it, so I'm assuming that it's just a summer pad. The claimed weight on the website is 1.3 kilograms, which is pretty heavy for a sleeping pad, a single sleeping pad at least, but if you divide that by 2, that's less than 700 grams per person. I must say, it's actually more compact than I was expecting. This is the Vorder Performance 7 medium sleeping mat. This is obviously just a single sleeping mat, and this is the size difference between the two of them. Okay, let's open it. You get a repair kit. I am going to actually open this up because to me it looks like there are 2 bits of paper in here. On the back of this piece of paper there is a little sticker which is obviously meant to be the repair patch. I do not know how strong a repair that would be on an air mattress. I mean, it's very lightweight. So then the mat itself is being held together just by a piece of elastic. It looks like they actually provide you with a pump sack, which I've never actually used a pump sack before to inflate a sleeping mat. I've always just used my own breath. I tried to unroll it now and the pump sack and the mat went flying apart. Wow. Before this has been inflated, it looks absolutely monstrous. I'm assuming that as it inflates, the width and the length are going to shrink slightly. This is the valve. It's got the first lid, which closes over a one-way valve, undone completely to allow it to deflate. Can you tell I've never used a pump sack before? Am I doing it right? I feel like this is going to take a long time. That did take me quite a while, but I think it's mostly user error with the pump sack. I managed to detach the deflation valve twice while I was trying to inflate it. This thing is large. The green one is a Thermarest Trail Light, and the orange one is a Thermarest Pro Light Plus Women's Edition. And as you can see, this pad is both longer and wider than both of these 2 pads combined. I'm a little concerned about how it's going to fit in the tents. Let's see if it fits inside of the Black Diamond Mirage first. I highly doubt it. The Mirage, it's really a very ultralight tent. As you can see, this mattress is both too wide at the bottom and too long at the end for the Black Diamond Mirage. This is not going to work for quite ultralight 2-person tents, but let's try the Hilleberg Alac 3-person tent and see if it fits in there. I hope it does fit in there because that's a tent that I'm planning on taking on my backpacking trip. It does fit in here, but not really with space for a 3rd sleeping pad, which is a slight problem because the reason why I'm taking this particular sleeping pad on my upcoming backpacking trip is because I'm taking my son with me for the first time. Okay, so the good news is that I have actually managed to fit just quite tightly the Thermarest Pro Light Plus Women's Edition in here. It is on the ground. It's just right up against the edge of the tent and right up against the NatureHike double inflatable mattress. There's not a whole lot of space left in the tent for anything else. I mean, there's a tiny little strip at the bottom there and a little bit here. I think I've figured out why this thing doesn't advertise an R value. It's probably because its R value is like 0. As you can see, it's got these little puffy cushions in a kind of diamond shape everywhere, but in between them, in that welded area, that is all that area is. It's just a weld. I'm going to see whether it's possible to inflate it slightly harder. I don't know if that's going to make any difference. When I blew it up a bit harder, it is slightly more comfortable. If I lie down on my side or on my back, completely lying down, I don't bottom out. I'm feeling slightly more optimistic about it now that I'm not bottoming out when I'm lying down. I can hear a leak. I'm hoping that leak that I heard was just the valve not being 100% closed, but I am willing to give this setup a shot. I mean, just because something is different to what you usually use doesn't mean that it's necessarily bad. So I've got my bed set up for the night. I'm just going to be sleeping inside the house, which is actually a bit of a more difficult test for this particular sleeping mat because I'm going to be sleeping on a hardwood floor. I did realize that you need to be pretty careful with the valve to make sure that it's really pressed down properly and closed properly. The little leaking noise that I heard earlier in the tent was because the valve was not closed properly. I slept on the NatureHike double inflatable mattress last night, and in terms of comfort, it was pretty comparable to my Thermarest ProLight Plus Women's Edition. It wasn't the most comfortable thing in the whole world, but it wasn't uncomfortable. I slept fairly well. I've gone from being pretty concerned about this mattress to cautiously optimistic. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you'd like to see more from me, then you can click on my YouTube channel name to see videos that I've made in the past, or you can subscribe to my channel to see videos that I'm going to make in the future.